All right, what's up guys? Taylor Gone here. Today in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about getting into the front rack position, just out of a squat rack here. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the push jerk. This video is actually for a couple of my athletes who are struggling with learning the push jerk and overhead squat due to a pretty common flaw in their setup of the front rack position. So I'm going to go over a little bit of both. So the biggest thing that I see people mess up on their front rack, and I'm going to take this from a behind angle and then I'm going to move it over here, maybe to the front, is what I call they flat back into the rack position. So they just walk up to the bar and push their lats forward and try to get everything under the bar. So it looks like this from behind. Okay. Very flat backed, right? I'll show you what that looks like on the side here. And I want you to notice how far my elbows come up, because when I do it the correct way, I'm going to take the same grip. Everything's going to be the same, but the little bit of movement that I'm going to show you is going to help me bring my elbows up a lot more. So here, flat back it in, just walking straight under and coming under like that. Now it's pretty far away from my body. It's a good, it's like floating around my Adam's apple, and it's not making contact with my chest and shoulders. I want to make contact with my chest and shoulders. So, and how I see that look like later on in the lift is when you go to dip and press, you kind of collapse down a little bit here. We don't want that. We want to be nice and strong up here, okay? So the way that we fix that is we row ourselves into the bar, right? So from behind, like I'm doing a low row, okay? I want to pull my shoulder blades and traps together, but I don't want to shrug up, okay? I want to pull it together like this and then get under the weight. So it looks like this. So I'm going to row myself to it, right? I'm not shrugging up. I'm rowing right through the mid back. I'm coming up. Now it's making contact and it's a lot more closer to my center of gravity. See how that looks from the front. Now watch how much better my elbow position gets, okay? I'm gonna row myself in here, not here, here, okay? Pulling everything together in my shoulder blades, dropping under. Look at that, it's making contact, and look how much better my elbows are right here. Not only is this good for getting further under with the elbows, but I can take a much fuller grip on the bar. When I do it the other way, I kind of have fingertips, so it's like this to kind of compensate to allow myself to come through. So when I press, I'm having to catch like that. We don't want that, right? So what I mean by that, flat backing, coming through. If I want my elbows to be in the same position, it's sitting all the way back in my fingertips, so that when I go to press it, I'm having to extend the wrist and lock it out, right? We don't want that. We want it centered through the hand when we get under there. So when I row myself to the bar, I can keep that nice full hand and come under. Now we're ready to rock. Okay, it's a lot, it's minimized. That wrist flip is a lot less motion there. It's a lot less of a catch. So let's tie this into the push jerk. When you push press, it's a little easier to get away with it because your hips aren't required to drop. So you're gonna do it and then you're gonna come through And, you know, there's a little bit more room for error on the front rack position when you're just doing a push press. Obviously, if you want to master the movement, that's not the case. But when we're doing a movement where we want our hips to be able to drop, well, your hips and your shoulders rotate together. And when you drop, you're asking yourself for your hips to rotate. Well, if your hips have to rotate, your shoulders have to rotate, right? So where my athletes are kind of struggling in this is that their shoulders aren't rotating, so they're catching like this, and they can't get through this position. They have great T-spine extension, but they don't have the shoulder rotation and the shoulder blade retraction to complete this movement. And you need all of those things. You need good extension and you need the shoulders to rotate. So like I said, when we drop, we're here, right? I'm not poking my head through. My shoulders are internally rotating, which is resulting in my head coming through. Okay, there's a difference. So we're gonna go ahead and do it the right way. Row yourself in, shoulder blades together, drop under, dip, here. I'm here, right? Head's forward, hips are back, shoulders are back. Not here, where I'm having to push my knees forward and come off my heels, and I'm locked in this upper back neutral position. I want to be here. That's all rotation. Did you see that? From here, right? I'm extended through the T-spine, but the only thing that changes is the rotation, right? So you can see how when I catch with that locked up neutral back, it's going to be very hard for me to complete the squat. Just for context, one of the main things that I use to teach someone how to push jerk for the first time is having them master the overhead squat in the grip that they're going to push with. That's very demanding on your mobility. So if you're watching this video and you want to learn how to push jerk, don't be afraid to, hit your main sets of push jerk at a normal grip and then spread out if you need to. Even if you need to go all the way to the ends, snatch grip overhead squat, that's fine. But gradually, if you really want to master the push jerk, you need to be able to comfortably do an overhead squat in the same grip that you are pressing from. So let's do it the wrong way first. Flat back in it. Okay. I'm here, and I can't really get past here. My mobility is good enough to do it, but I can't get past here without lifting my heels up. Okay? Now let's do it the right way. Row myself in, shoulder blades together. Come through, make contact. You see? Let me know if you have any questions on this. Leave a comment, send me a message on Instagram, and we'll get this worked out for you.